Welcome to Chat with Us. And today we are joined by our superstar guest, Jackie Johnson from Big Brothers Big Sisters Central Minnesota. Woo! Michelle Redman from Big Brothers Big Sisters Southern Minnesota. From Big Brothers Big Sisters Twin Cities. And so as just some high level background, Big Brothers Big Sisters, you know us, we're a mentoring agency. We work with youth, matching them with volunteers to create a relationship between a child and a caring adult. And within the work we do and the three agencies we represent, we're three of about 230 across the country. So there's a larger federation, a national Big Brothers Big Sisters agency, and the three of us represent Minnesota. So we are the three agencies in Minnesota: Twin Cities, Owatonna, St. Cloud. And a lot of the work that we do and within the federation and more at the local level is about coming together. It's about collaborating, sharing ideas, best practices, and how we can best serve Minnesota. So you actually joined us at the end of a day where we've gathered, we've shared ideas across agencies. I'm sure we've got a little bit of sort of the conference sort of punch drunk in us. And so you're going to catch us in a good place. We've got our team still watching us out here. So hopefully you'll hear some hooting and hollering. But we just want to jump in and we want to talk about the power of mentoring, right? Studies show that the number one factor in a child gaining resilience, which is confidence, self-esteem, positive decision-making, is the presence of a caring adult, right? And we see that impact in the youth we work with, and we see it within the bigs or the mentors that participate in the program as well. 80% of them feeling more connected to their community, 80% feeling greater perspectives of different cultures, many of them feeling using mentoring to help deal with trauma, help dealing with stress. So we see the impact both ways and what it can bring for us. And that's what we talked about today and grew and continued to advance. And what we're going to talk about today. So I do want to take a moment to let each of you introduce yourself, speak to a little bit more about your agencies and what even brought you to Big Brothers Big Sisters.
All right, well, hello everyone. I'm Jackie Johnson. As Pat said, I'm with the Central Minnesota program. And I have been working in youth mentoring for well over 30 years. And I came to the Central Minnesota program 12 years ago. And it seems like every job I've had has helped me prepare to lead this organization. And I came to it because I had mentors in my life that were there and stepped in for me, that if they had not done that, I don't know where I would be. And it's my way to pay it forward to them, as well as I believe we are a community solution, bringing people together that otherwise would not have a relationship. And when you can bring people together and have them care about each other, it changes the community at a very organic and very sustainable level. So I love our program and love that we're working together, and Big Brothers Big Sisters is a lifelong impact on the littles, on the bigs, on their families, as well as on the staff that work with them.
And I'm Michelle Redman from Southern Minnesota's Big Brothers Big Sisters, and we serve 4 counties in the southern part of the state. And I am so lucky to be able to collaborate with these 2 leaders and represent the state of Minnesota as one of the 235 affiliates across the nation. I've been with the organization for over 14 years and am so proud to see the growth we've had in Southern Minnesota. When I started, we were serving 400 children, and we're serving over 800 children currently. But with saying that, the impacts we see, like Pat talked about, the self-confidence. I've been there long enough that I have seen kids come through our program and now have volunteered in our program, and meeting them when they were a youth and a student and shy, and just growing up and having that confidence to really not only be a leader but pay it forward and become a big also. So same to what Jackie says, I really see as Big Brothers Big Sisters as a solution to many things that are going on in our community, and I'm so proud to be part of such a wonderful organization and such a great team.
And again, Pat Sukhum with Big Brothers Big Sisters Twin Cities. We serve about 2,000 youth a year, and I think everyone's familiar with sort of our one-to-one mentoring program, but we do it through a wide range of programs, some within groups, some focused on specific areas, whether it's science and technology, whether it's free arts, or art-based programs, but a lot of different sort of models within all the work we do, and within those settings. And, just from my history, I've been here about a little over a year. I'm the new guy. These two absolutely love it when I continue to throw that out as my excuse to continually ask for help. But I came here and started as a big. So I met my little Derek 24 years ago. We're still exceptionally close. We're in each other's lives. He was the best man at my wedding. He actually pushed me to pursue this position. And so I've seen the impact of mentoring firsthand, and really what that sort of built this path to now being able to join my staff and get out of their way and let them perform and enable them. And for all the reasons we talked about, I'm thrilled to be a part of this. I actually have some questions on note cards. We kind of joked that this is kind of feeling like a late night talk show, and we even did our mugs to do so.
There's just water in them.
That's water. And so just want to kind of continue the conversation, and curious from the both of you, what makes Big Brothers Big Sisters unique and different? And it could be in the grand scheme of sort of the ways we can serve our communities, but also even in the mentoring space.
Well, we know that Big Brothers Big Sisters is the most nationally the most recognized and highest regarded mentoring agency. And we know that we put a lot of work into making sure our kids are safe. And that's number one. Secondary would be that they are with a big that helps address the needs that they have. And also for the big, it needs to be a good match for the big as well. So they both get a lot out of it. But I think what sets us apart is our due diligence with the matches, as well as ongoing coaching. Like any relationship, the matches change and grow. They ebb and flow as the big goes through different stages in their life and the little goes through different stages in their life. And we're there to help them through that. So I think that's key.
And on that, I think mentorship is so important in any form that mentorship takes place. I had mentors growing up from a single parent household. And if I didn't have those mentors, I wouldn't be where I am today. But what Big Brothers Big Sisters does differently than any other formal or informal mentorship is how, and you alluded to this a little bit, how we make the perfect match. We call it an interview, but we talk with the volunteers, find out their passions, their likes, how comfortable they are with different things, and just really get to know the true essence of that person. And then we do the same with the child and the parent, and learn all about that to be able to create the perfect match. Because if we can't make that perfect match, we want it to be successful, not only for the little, but also for the big, because that's what makes it a long-lasting relationship, just like your little and you together being the perfect match. And I really do, if we don't take that time in the beginning, it shows. And so we have really learned as an organization through Big Brothers Big Sisters really to take that time to make that perfect match, so it is a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, even just to pile on to what you both said, I absolutely agree. I think we've done it long enough that we understand the nuance and the experience to make sure it's safe, right? To make sure that we are bringing people into, and safe from the factors we think about hazards, but also safe from an emotional perspective, a social perspective, a perspective of belonging. And absolutely agree that I think the matching and the long-term nature of the relations we want to create, at first you're showing up, you're creating consistency, right? And that's such an important piece of feeling included, feeling like you belong. And then as that relationship grows, it does grow into that space where you can start to explore together, right? And we spent a lot of today talking about a lot of the opportunities we can present about, big futures and college and career readiness. And so you have this trusted partner to help you explore, and then ultimately, and it happened with Derek and I, just this ability to challenge each other, right? And it's hard to just meet someone and challenge them right away and try to get them juiced up and going. But I think when you have that relationship in place, it's that ability to then push each other. And again, even when I think about working here, it was my little brother who was kind of the impetus behind, you're going to do it. You're going to keep sticking with it. You're going to go to that next step. And it's amazing. I think we would all see it. how many stories we have where we've seen both sides of that happen. A lot of times when we did it today, we talk about sort of the impact, right? The big, the little, the community as a whole. You know, what thoughts do you have just on sort of like the impact we deliver?
Well, we talk a lot about the impact we make on the littles as an organization, as bigs, and just, you know, self-confidence, grades, all that. But we don't talk about really the impact on the volunteers and then the impact on the community. We survey our littles and our bigs and all that, and I've shared with you guys, and you guys are probably sick of me saying this, but in 2021, you know, surveying our bigs, 99.3% of our bigs said that their little changed their life for the better. And to me, that says it all. And then if you can have that much impact with the little and the big, you are changing the community. And really, you know, when we do cross-culture matches, we really get to learn from each other too. And in the state of our nation, and really get to learn from each other within the matches is a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And what we also see from time to time is someone contacts us and says, hey, I just want you to know that I was in your program 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and this is what's happened, or I'm still in contact with my big. In fact, our newest staff member that we just hired, she told us in her interview that her father was a little brother, and her dad's big brother is still in their life and is her godfather. And here she is, a college graduate, and when looking for a place to work, she saw Big Brothers Big Sisters and applied and was very enthusiastic because this is a way for her to pay it forward with what was there for her dad. So we just don't know what's going to come from a match that we do today. That how many years later would that be? Maybe 40 years later, the little brother's child goes to work for an agency and changes kids' lives and big's lives. So we don't, it's just an amazing program to be a part of. And our work today carries on into the future.
It actually reminded me of a story. I was just talking with one of our board members yesterday, and he told me a story. He's a big. He actually just had a child too. So he's got a newborn infant. He's a big, and he's great relationship with his little. And the last time he picked up his little, the little's mom, when they were leaving, said, hey, don't forget to talk to the big about our legacy plan. And the big was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So they got in the car and they're driving, and the little said, oh yeah, Mom and I came up with a legacy plan where I want to be your newborn's big, right? And so it was this, you know, when we think about the impact and this idea of pay it forward and sharing, right? Sharing sort of your perspectives and your wealth across, you know, and even when this big was telling me, and they're kind of a stoic person, I think, you know, they felt the emotion, right? They felt the impact. And it's not like they don't feel it throughout, but that moment kind of encapsulated, I think, sort of what their relationship had become. And for the mom and the little to come to it together, right? It's the big, it's the little, it's the family that's involved, and everyone feels the impact. And again, this idea is to pay it forward, right? And I think you both hit it really well. And, you know, when we do think about that community impact, right? We work with large companies and corporations, and there's always bigs and littles in their companies, right? So I do think, like you said, it builds to a community change where, you know, those, you know, individuals in the community that support us, it should really be seen that you are building the community around you, right? You're not necessarily just doing the right thing to help someone over there. It's making stronger communities, safer communities, building more diverse workforces, more diverse thought, opening new markets. I think there's just so much potential that our youth have, and what, you know, so much of what we do is connecting them to that opportunity.
Right. Yeah, I think at times it's easy to be discouraged if you take a lot of what we hear in and try to think what can we do? It's overwhelming. But for us at Big Brothers Big Sisters, because we're supported by very generous people and because very wonderful people step forward to volunteer, we really are part of the solution. And I think we can put our blinders on and do what we do and do it very well, and know that whatever we do today really does matter. and just having the best people be a part of the agency, whether it's our staff, our board members, our team, donors, etc.
I don't know if a lot of people know that, yes, we're a mentoring program, of course, people know that, but do they know all of the other activities that are part of it? And with the college and career readiness, the partnerships with different school districts, with different programs within the school, and really not only having that mentorship component, the friendship component, but actually having the opportunities to open different pathways and really see what's out there just in our community. Because not only can we make these friendships, but we can also make our community stronger for our future workforce by showing them what our community, especially being in the outskirts, not in the metro area. Not every kid grows up in, Southern Minnesota goes, I want to stay in Southern Minnesota. But by showing them the opportunities of careers and things that could happen right in their community, that I really see as building our community together.
Yeah, I love that. I think it speaks so much to, and we know this, and it's been the evolution of sort of our federation, right? And we talked about it today, but we know that opportunities are not provided in an equitable fashion. And potential exists in all youth, but that opportunity isn't always linked in the same way. And, it speaks a lot of the work we're doing around JEDI, which for us is justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, and DEI initiatives as a whole. And again, we talked about it a lot today, but we'd love to jump into that a little bit with the both of you and sort of the work we're doing there and just your thoughts in the space.
We believe that every child deserves a chance to be successful, however they would define being successful. That doesn't mean we think every child needs to try to pursue a medical degree to be a doctor. We need welders, we need mechanics, we need HVAC workers, etc. So we believe that given the opportunity, youth will rise to the challenge and be successful in different ways, but youth will not be successful if they don't feel someone believes in them. And we know that that a youth has one person that believes in them, their chances of succeeding are greatly increased. So again, as you said, it's not always equitable, but we know that if a child has that mentor and that mentor encourages that child to take part in the activities that we do, such as career night, learning about different careers, going and touring the local colleges and those types of things, that they are in a better position to succeed. We have a program where we have students meet at St. Cloud State with their mentor. So in that situation, the kids are able to go on campus in a way they otherwise never would go on campus. And most of the kids in that program are BIPOC, or what that means, Black, Indigenous people of color. And it's an opportunity that they otherwise would not have. So it's a way for us to serve our community and build our workforce and keep them in hopefully local. We want them to stay in St. Cloud, not Southern Minnesota. No, just kidding. But it is a way to open up the world to them and give them opportunity that they otherwise would not have, because given opportunity and someone that they believe in equals success.
And JEDI is not new to anybody in the Big Brothers Big Sisters Federation. It's become more well-known in businesses and things like that. We've always served all youth. That is what we do. And we serve them where they're at and what they need to the best of our ability and their ability. So with JEDI, we just want to make, as you said, make opportunities equitable for all, and really letting youth be youth in the space they want to be, and really supporting them in any way we possibly can. And that's truly in every aspect of what we do, from fundraising to recruitment to everything we do has a JEDI lens to it. But I think the most important is that we serve all youth, and we need all types of volunteers to come to our table to help, support, and be friends. And, we talked a little bit about today, and I use this all the time, the word mentor. Sometimes it's a scary word. I will say to my mentors growing up that they were my mentor, and they're like, I wasn't a mentor. A mentor is a friend. It doesn't have to be a college professor, or a doctor. I mean, it's a friend, and we have to look within ourselves, whoever we are, and how can we be part of the solution as adults, stepping to the table and helping friends to youth.
Yeah, I love all of that. And, even again, the discussion today and our team sort of leading us in some of those discussions as well. And, getting to sort of like how they define success, right? And time the opportunity. And I think it's so obvious, but, the most powerful tool in JEDI and DEI is listening, right? So we need to listen to our youth. And I say that like it's a super easy thing to do. It actually is not our norm, right? I mean, I'm loaded with assumptions. I'm loaded with expectations. I'm loaded with my past and my lived experience. And so I think sort of a lot of the exercise is how do we get past that? How do we make sure that we're serving our kids' needs? And as you said, we're helping them a path to success, but they're defining what the success is. And I actually today was so impressed again with our team sort of speaking on behalf of our bigs and our littles, sort of sharing that in the space and guiding us. And we all know it's a long path and continual work to do, but I think there's a lot of great intentionality. So as the new guy, I'd be curious.
Can we just say, I think after a year, the new guy has worn out and we need to come up with a new name. Okay, do you hear that?
Yeah, how about after 10 years being on the board of directors and then working for over a year at the agency?
And being a big
And
for
being a big-
24 years, you're not the new guy
I'm
anymore.
not loving how this is going with this kind of this flow here. Why don't I just get back to the questions? I'd be really interested with both of you, like, what are the biggest challenges? What are our needs? What are we overcoming, external, internal?
Yeah, I think that changes. And unfortunately, sometimes on a daily basis, that changes. Right now in the marketplace, ours is staffing. We have such a great team of dedicated staff, and we've had some really great longevity within our staff. But, the marketplace is tough right now, and to hire and to continue to grow, to build that staff is very difficult. And then our other major concern is, I hate to bring up the pandemic, but since the pandemic, recruiting volunteers looks a lot different. It looks a lot different. People got really comfortable on their couches, and they really like their couch and, watching Netflix or whatnot. So we need to let people know it's okay to come out again and support the youth.
Our biggest challenge is no surprise across the country is recruitment. And I think if people gave it more thought about what this really would mean to their life, that they would come forward sooner, because that's what we hear. I wish I would have done this sooner. And trust that we will help them through the process. So maybe a big challenge is that we're not communicating that well. Maybe we're not sharing the message that we will be there with them every step. We will help make that match that is perfect for them. We will help coach them through their years as their relationships ebb and flow and that type of thing. But we're not getting people to go from that's something I want to do, that's something I wanted to do, that's something that someday I'll do, to I think I'm doing that. And
How about I'm doing that?
I'm doing that and signing up and taking the jump, taking the risk. Nobody wants to fail. No one wants to be looked at like, wow, you didn't do a great job. You didn't make a mentor or make it to be a mentor. So I just want to assure people somehow that we're there for them. And if everybody who thinks that maybe someday I'll do that, or maybe I should have done that, if they would step forward, we would have all of our kids that are ready to be matched, would have that special person in their life. And we actually would then attract more littles and serve more matches, continue to change the community. So for sure, recruitment, but maybe it's more of a messaging challenge.
Yeah, I think, again, sort of just piggybacking on what you both said, and absolutely, our biggest need is volunteers as well, right? More people to step in to commit. I do think times have changed, COVID, and we offer a unique volunteering experience, right? You're creating a relationship, right? That impact both ways. And again, maybe it's sort of a communication thing, but I just, especially being a big, I can't sort of emphasize enough the impact it had on me. So even thinking about coming out of COVID, I'm not sure about what I can commit to, right? And again, understanding what we're asking for, but also, somebody the other day had me Google how to deal with mental health issues. And the top 3 things that came up were create more social connections, be active, talk to someone, right? And that's really the space we play in. So as I think about both, should I give myself to an organization to volunteer? It really is the opportunity that comes back to yourself, especially coming out of something like the pandemic, especially as we're trying to find connection to our community as we're more disconnected. And so I offer up to anyone who's interested in taking that next step that really it's going to be something very unique in your life. It's not going to be like something you volunteered before, and the full circle impact of it is, the return on that is going to be immeasurable.
And I think that another thing is it's not a one size fits all. People think of Big Brothers Big Sisters as a one and done type of thing. We have so many different opportunities and programs to really engage people in whatever way they want to be engaged. We have virtual programs, we have school site programs, we have, community-based programs, you have free arts. I mean, there are so many ways to get involved. It's not just a one type of relationship. We can really fit in where you would think we have like an opportunity at Southern Minnesota, basically an hour a month. There's 720 hours a month. I figured this out, guys. 1 hour a month. I mean, really, to change and your life and a little's life. So.
Yeah, I think too, I'm glad you brought that about the flexibility again. I think back to when Derek and I met, and I remember feeling a little overwhelmed, like I'm going to have to come up with something every week. And the agency provides tons of events. You have more than you need, but what am I going to think of? And I remember there was a Saturday where it's like, Derek, I'm so sorry. I can't meet up today. I got to go and get some work done in the office. And he was, can I come? And he came into my office, and, he hadn't been in an office before. And so he got to sort of see that. And we had like a ping pong table he played on, and I got him on the internet, and there was some stuff he could actually help me with. And he also let me do some of my work. And that became something he wanted to do again and again, right? And I remember just going into his neighborhood. He lived over on Broadway in Russell, and we would just play football in the street, right? I mean, it was like I'd get there, he'd be like, come on, there's a game, let's go, you're late, because I was always late. So I mean, it really isn't this, we would bake cookies, right? We would play catch. There's just a lot of flexibility in the program as well. And I think it can feel a little overwhelming and a little intimidating at first.
Yeah, we talk a lot about all the activities that we provide at Big Brothers Big Sisters, but also it's the little, this is way old, little moments. It really is. It can be walking the dog together. It can be going to the grocery store and picking out what you're going to make. It can be the simplest things. And we have had some really fun great opportunities through your agency, like going to the Taylor Swift concert or Twins games and things like that. Really big, great things. But when you talk to the littles, they talk about, just making dinner or baking cookies or playing ball in the front yard. Or I really like, walking the dog, it's the simple things, because that's the time they really get that one-on-one, those moments.
Yeah, when they feel seen is what's really important to them. And of course it would be. And in our social media world, I think that's more important than ever. And that needs to be demonstrated, role modeled, and help our kids.
What's the future of this? Where are we headed? What's the future of mentoring, the future of Big Brothers Big Sisters? What are you seeing?
Well, we'll always have a wait list. So that's part of it.
A ready list.
A ready
Ready
list.
A ready list.
A ready list. Because our kids will always need a caring adult in their life. So we don't ever see that going away. We just would like to serve more kids and more bigs. I don't think mentoring will ever be replaced by anything else. And especially the relationship piece. We're human beings and we crave that relationship. And our brains require us to have those relationships to develop the brain properly. So I just don't think that will ever change. So there will always be a place for big brothers, big sisters. I love how we have creative programming and maybe different types of programming. But for sure, the basic mentoring of a youth being seen by another person and being important in their life, that will never go away. We've all had that in our lives, and our kids deserve that too.
Our future, we might be mentoring them right now. They might be the leaders sitting on this couch in the future, and that's what I see. And that's what I hope for all of our youth, to find what their passion is and keep bringing big brothers, big sisters forward.
Yes. I think you both hit that perfectly, right? Like you said, what their future is, understanding their needs, applying Jedi, as we said, but really pulling them into the process, every part of it, right? And making sure that they feel heard and they feel seen and they belong. I'm just recapping everything you said, but I think the work that we'll continue to do in that space to elevate our youth, right? Knowing the power and the potential they have, and frankly, probably that historically we've kind of dampened it, right? Or at least tried to bucket it. So I see huge opportunity there as well. I'm really excited about all the work we're doing in that space. I say this kind of selfishly because I have one I want to share. We'll jump into questions then, but any match stories you want to share? Anything that kind of sparks you? You've already shared a couple. And again, I'm kind of selfishly doing it because I have one.
Oh, there's so many, and I am trying to decide between which one, but I talked about the perfect match and how the perfect match happens, and we spend a lot of time to make the perfect match. Well, we called a volunteer because, of course, we called a proposal to the volunteer and to the little to see if they accept the big or the little. So we're talking to the big and we're telling him all about this little and everything. And we get done and he goes, "Oh my goodness, it's like you just explained to me when I was younger." And then the match support specialist calls the little and reads all about the big. And the little goes to his mom, and the match support specialist could hear because they were on speakerphone, goes, "He sounds just like me just older." And that's what it's all about, is making that perfect match. And they are as cute as can be together and really have the same likes and passions, but really can learn from one another.
Well, we have thousands and thousands of stories, but one that sticks out is about 10 years ago, a boy in a single family home came forward with his mom wanting to be matched, and John entered the picture. And John had recently lost his wife and was an empty nester. So he was looking for something to fill his time and be rewarding. And this little brother was looking for someone to teach him some things he otherwise would not learn, and just that relationship. Fast forward 10 years, and through a lot of support from the big brother, the little has graduated from high school, and they're an inseparable match. They've been included in each other's family events, and they just don't see a life apart from each other in the future. And they each were a very important part that no one else was fulfilling in their lives. So just a somewhat typical story, but yet very unique in that it was very specific to them and very life-changing.
Yeah, you hear a lot of sort of similar themes, but then applied at such an individual level. The story I wanted to tell was, so our VP of programs, Deanna, who many of you know, if you're on the Zoom, hit the chat with a shout out to her. This is actually her last day with us. So she's been here 16 years, big shoes to fill, and so grateful for her work with the organization in many aspects. But I didn't even ask her if I could speak to this. Maybe she's not listening. But, you know, I think about her match. And so she met her little, and they met in one program, and to keep the relationship going, they actually transitioned to another program. They went from a school-based to a community-based. And in that transition, had to meet with the little's parents. There was a different language situation. So we had to bring in a translator. And I remember her telling me stories that the little's dad said, you have to promise that the little will graduate college before she gets married, right? So I mean, just already creating goals, I guess, but just this communication between all the parties. And so in this other program, clearly Deanna working with her little, you know, at one point the little was interested in photography. So the agency was able to help get some photography equipment. And sort of this work, the little engaged in our college and career readiness. It was called something different back there. Got help from a scholarship through Federated, one of our generous sponsors, and was able to use that scholarship to go to a four-year school and graduated, and ended up coming to work back at Big Brothers Big Sisters. So I love that story just from you know, and Deanna tells it so much better. And, you know, when you talk to both of them, you feel the emotion in the heart, but just sort of, again, that arc to that story, right? The widow maybe not knowing much about the work we do, right? Serving the community, the social work side of it. The opportunity to sort of commit to each other goals, and the widow actually just got married last summer. So they completed that goal.
They completed the goal.
You know, and so I find it so impactful, again, from the stories within it. But when you really think about how they explore and how they learn, two cultures came together, right? And you not only gain perspectives, but I really think that those perspectives give you such a different level of compassion for the world you don't know.
And I think that is what makes our job and all our team's jobs great, is the stories. They really keep us going. And it is, you know, the stories that we know from our littles, but then, you know, you will have anywhere you go and you talk about Big Brothers Big Sisters, someone will be like, oh yeah, my mom was a big, or my brother was a little, and they'll tell you that story. And these stories that you just get to hear, and the impact that is made through Big Brothers Big Sisters across this nation is incredible.
Well, thank you both for all your answers to all those questions. And with that, I think maybe we'll see if there's any questions out there.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've got two questions. So the first one, what makes you most proud to work at Big Brothers Big Sisters?
I hate to say many things, but I mean, I think the youth we serve, and really after 14 years, I had an experience at our holiday party, and this little that I've known over the years, who was so quiet and so shy, could barely look you in the eyes, walked up to me and had a full-fledged conversation and looking in my eyes, and I'm just like, Maylin, you have grown up so, and we just had this adult conversation with a girl that could not even, you know, look you in the eyes before. And I just think that's just one child, and there's so many across our great nation that have learned so many wonderful things from their big, but also what the bigs have learned from the littles as well.
I really love how we compare people's passions with our community needs and see that come together and be a part of that. So someone might not be able to volunteer, but they're able to help fund the agency. And because of that, our team members are able to match a child with a mentor and change their lives. But probably one of the things, if I had to narrow down more, being able to see team members grow and the work that they do, I'm so proud of them and what they accomplish, because that's where our littles and bigs will have a better experience, is because of our team members. It's not because of me. I'm not the one dealing directly with them. So I'd have to say the success of our team members.
Yeah, I think you're hitting on all the big ones, right? And I mean, I don't know if it's like it's pride for sure, but also kind of I'm blown away when I think about just the commitment that exists in all this. And again, I don't say that sort of as a contrary to like, if you become a big, it's this daunting commitment, but really how much people are willing and put into investing in lifting youth, lifting adults, lifting the community. And absolutely, I mean, I'm so proud and so impressed with our bigs and our littles, right? Without that, there's no mission. But absolutely, I want, the staff and the sacrifice they make. I came over from for-profit, another sector, and coming into this to see how this is just fueled on heart and passion and belief in a mission. It's not only inspiring to see how that can be so fulfilling, right? You kind of lose it on the other side. I'll just tell you, no disrespect. But it really is just something to be so proud of, and so humbling to be a part of. And again, a little bit newer, but not the new guy. To see it in the staff that have been here and have stayed with it and are dedicated in what they're able to teach me and teach our bigs and our littles, and what we hope permeates into the community. I mean, really gives you hope within that incredible opportunity.
I second, third. I mean, it's the team that makes it successful, and having team members throughout this great state that have been with us for over 20 years, 15 years, and really are the heart and passion of the agency. And I like goals and I like competition, as you both know. And I throw these, my team is looking at me. I throw some crazy goals and some fun competitions at them. And sometimes they roll their eyes and think I'm crazy, but their heart and passion, they're like, yep, we can do it. And they're out there doing everything they can to serve, our youth and our volunteers. And that's, like you said, it's heart and soul.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just tacking this on, but clearly it takes a community, it takes a village, right? Our bigs, our littles, our staff, we have so much incredible support through community partners, incredibly generous funders of this program, right, that are investing in our mission, right? And I like to think of it less as a donation and a gift, but an investment in the mission, investment in the community, right? We're all going to rise together.
And I think we always forget to thank the parents, because they are a true partner in all of this. Without the parents, we can't have a match, and they're truly instrumental in part of that.
Yeah. And they're very brave to be able to come forward. It's not easy to ask for help, and that's something I don't think we ever lose sight of. Is as a parent or a grandparent who's raising a grandchild, it's hard to say I need extra support. My child needs more than what I'm able to provide, and I don't see that as a weakness. I see that very much as a strength, and that is something that a gift that parent gives to their child.
I think we have time for one last question. What is the best way the community can help?
I say advocate, advocate, advocate. Talk about Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Let people know. I mean, we would love everybody that's listening right now to jump in and be a big and be a supporter and all that. But if that's not an option, just talk about Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Share the story. Share the need. That we really do need more volunteers.
Yeah, and how can you be a part of it? And share your story of who mentored you. Share your stories about who you're mentoring. If the world would focus more on how we got to where we are with other people caring about us and how we're helping others, it would be a different world. It would be a totally different field. If we talked more about what we do for volunteering and what our passion is, the world would change. So I think focus on how to help others, how you've been helped. And if Big Brothers, Big Sisters is a passion of yours, how can you be a part of it? There's many different ways: board member, committee member, volunteer, donor, staff member. There's hundreds of ways to be involved in our agency.
Yeah, I agree with that. I love how you're both kind of getting to this idea of connection. And I think absolutely we have resource needs, right? You can hit the donate button on our website and you can volunteer with us, and we would absolutely love that. You would be a fantastic big. We we already know that. But I think within that connection, it's really, and I'm not trying to throw this question back out on everyone, but it's helping us understand what the need is. And not that we don't, have a feel for it, but we want to make sure that we're aligned, right? And we want to make sure, create conversations with us so we're showing up in the right ways, right? We've done this for a long time. We have a lot of experience, but we want to make sure that's evolving. And really, we want to make sure it's evolving in a way that's relevant to our communities. And when I say communities, that's not one little bucket. And it's going to take time, and we're going to learn. But we want to engage in those conversations and learn more, and make sure we're meeting the needs that are being asked of us. Okay. I think we have bumped up against time, and we're at the end here. I don't know if you have any last. I don't know, maybe you have a mantra you want to scream out, and I don't mean to put pressure there, but any last thoughts?
I would encourage people to think about who mentored them and reach out to that person or those people and thank them.
It's really good. And then pay it forward. But thank you, Pat, for the opportunity to join your chat with Pat and give us all this platform to talk to people out there and share more about Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Well, I'm so excited for what we're going to do again as a state, right? When we think about the bold North and what Minnesota can do, and it starts with a big and a little, and we want it to grow, right? It's going to be in our communities, it's going to be in our agencies, our state, nationwide, and so hopeful and so thankful for that opportunity. So thank you both for coming. Thank you for the teams joining us today here in Minneapolis. And thanks for all of you who joined us today. I know so many of you are supporters in all the ways that we look to be supported, bigs, former littles, generosity in so many ways. So thank you very much. Thanks for joining us today. We always invite you to reach out to us to support in all the ways we talked about, to create conversation and just to feel that connection. So thanks for joining us today.